What is your Tinder horror story? I went on a date with this guy, who I didn't really have anything in common with, but thought I'd give him a shot anyways. We met up at a bar, and he had already pounded 2 pitchers of beer, but was completely sober, at least from what I could tell. We hung out, talked, and although he seemed nice enough, I wasn't quite feeling it. I wanted to leave, but he convinced me to go to another bar, to get one last drink. Seeing as it was only about 8 PM, I agreed to one more drink. We were sitting at the bar and a couple was making out next to us. He looked at me and asked what I thought people in the bar would do if he and I started making out. I knew where this was going. I tried to laugh and make some joke about no one paying attention. He then insisted that we should make it. I nervously laughed and told him that wasn't a very good idea and excused myself to the restroom. I came back to the seat and he had a shot waiting for me and insisted I drink it. No shot for him, just me. I declined and he got really upset and said he was ready to go. At that point in the evening he had consumed 2 pitchers of beer, 4 margaritas, and 2 more pints, yet displayed no sign of being intoxicated. Nonetheless, I knew there was a lot of alcohol in his system and asked if he thought it was a good idea for him to drive. He got extremely defensive and said he was fine. We exited the bar and he took off in the opposite direction. When I got home I texted him just to make sure he was okay because had had so much to drink. His response: "I only date girls I fuck on the first date." Dodged a bullet with that one. I went on a Tinder date a couple months ago on a Sunday afternoon. Met up with the guy around 3. He had a really good energy and was funny and complimentary. The place we wanted to go had a long line, so we went to another restaurant on the water for a drink and appetizers. He started slamming down mates. I had 1, he had 3. They were strong. Like, I was tipsy, borderline drunk off of 1. The bar had a 2 mate per person limit, but he found another bartender to get his 3rd. He got drunker and drunker and started telling me he loved me, joking at first but getting increasingly serious. As we left he asked me to marry him. I kind of laughed it off and was like, maybe we take it slow, we just met each other. He got so mad he stormed off and left me on a street corner. Then as soon as he got home, it was 5 PM, he started texting me, "Come over. And I miss you." He was 43. WTF. He told me he's not gay, but he prefers to have sex with men and prefers to be on the bottom. I asked if he was bi, and he said, "No, I'm straight, I just like getting fucked in the ass." And then he asked me if he could pee in my butt cause he's always wanted to try it, but he won't top guys, so he can't find out how it feels. He's the head football coach of a private college in my state, and that made it even weirder somehow. Edit. Just wanna add that I'm a woman and not a gay man at all. Mayo. I've been waiting for the right thread for this. After a movie date with a guy I met on Tinder, we came back to my place. We'll call him Jude. I told him we could hang for a bit, but I have work in the morning, so I would need to go to sleep soon. Jude said that was fine, but he was hungry and he was going to order food. Okay, sure. Jude orders 2 large subs from Potbelly and a milkshake. Downs it. No judgment. He's 6'4", 210 pounds, younger, still growing, by all means. I didn't think anything of it until later. We end up messing around a bit and fall asleep in bed. I wake up to my front door opening and closing several times over a 5-minute period. My dogs are going nuts and it's 1 AM. What the heck is this guy doing? I open the door to my room that opens up to the rest of my apartment, and my bathroom is to the left, where the light is on and the door is wide open. I walk around the corner to make eye contact with Jude, who is in a squatting position over my toilet with a stick, poking around in murky brown poop water that is millimeters from overflowing onto my bathroom floor. Horrified, he yells, "Stop looking at me." Go back to bed. I have it under control. I'm still waking up trying to understand what I'm seeing and what's going on, and I just start nervous laughing. I don't know what else to do. He yells, "Why don't you have a plunger?" And I said I don't know, I never needed one until now. He tells me to go back to bed, he has it under control. I'm so disturbed, tired, can't process what's happening, and have work in the morning. I go back to bed. I remember hearing him peek in my room a bit later and heard I fixed it, and then heard him leave and my door close behind him. The next morning, I hesitantly approach my toilet to find the water is down. But there is something poking out from the bottom of the toilet, like he didn't get it all. Upon further inspection, what I was seeing was the tip of a stick. Some gloves, towels and BBQ tongues. Later I pulled out approximately 3 foot of stick from my toilet that had broke off, followed by several other stick fragments. Dude had broke several sticks. I heard my door open and close so much because he was going outside to look for a stick. One would break, he'd go get another. Dude had left drippy poop water stains all over my bathroom floor. He also left my apartment so fast that he left his underwear and undershirt and socks. After work that day, I went straight to the store and bought a plunger. Lesson learned. TLDR, guy from Tinder ate a bunch right before bed, took a huge poop while I was asleep, woke up to him trying to plunge the toilet with a stick he found outside. Edit, I forgot I'd posted this and just came back so surprised. First Reddit awards. Thanks guys. When I was younger I once had to use the bathroom outside my apartment's gym, which was right next to the management office where a really cute girl worked. I clogged the toilet and they didn't have a plunger. This was one of those ones that is so big it was still visible halfway in the bowl. It was really obvious that it was me who used the bathroom last, and I'd go there all the time. The last thing I want is for her to associate me with giant toilet killing bombs. In a panic, I calculated how much toilet paper I'd need so that it wouldn't immediately disintegrate, wrapped my hand in it, and fisted that fucking turd down the hole. Easily my most shameful moment of my adult life. The one friend group that I revealed that story to still has a couple of guys who call me shit puncher even years later. Buy plungers, people. Don't let it come to this. A chick said she was having a work party at her house and I should come over. It's Bob, so I bought a 6-pack for myself. Went to her place and noticed more than half of the people were younger, 17 to 18, while I was 21 and the girl was also 21. Then they gathered everyone in the living room and proceed to talk about the job. Turns out it was one of those pyramid scheme recruiting gatherings. I just sat there drinking my beer, only one drinking, for 2 hours, because I thought it was rude to leave, because they were telling sob stories and saying how much this job had helped them. Sat there listening to some head of the group guy saying how we can make millions in a short amount of time. Saying bullshit like, you see my BMW 3 Series out front? That's a company car that you can drive around in if you do what we do. It was sad because they were trapping low-income teens that are deciding not to go to college and to join them. After the pitch, I pretty much had enough and was preparing to leave. Then the girl came up to me and asked what I thought, and I just said it's not for me and I'm leaving. She asked if I wanted to take my beer, and I said they needed it more than I did. 2 or 3 weeks later she sent me a text. Unfortunately we exchanged numbers, asking if the head of the group guy can call me and ask me questions on why I'm not signing up and how I thought the group session went. I didn't reply, but sure enough the dude called me and I politely said it's not for me, but he kept pushing. Finally I had to tell him to fuck off. And that was the end of that. Never went to work parties for a Tinder date again. It was a complete shit show, and if it wasn't for the beer I brought, or the Tinder date dog, I would have just left. Looking back on it, during the pitch, the head of the group guy said at one point, if you're not interested in making $1 million, you can just leave. No one's stopping you. I really wish I stood up, chugged my beer, and said fuck this shit. You guys are all stupid and no one should be joining. You will ruin your lives and walk out. But that's just a daydream I have in the shower. Edit words and stuff, and thank you kind strangers for my first awards. Oh, I have one where I was probably the nightmare. I went on a first date with a girl from Tinder at a Cajun restaurant in Dallas. The restaurant was the Razzoos on 75. I had read recently about some stuff called kratom that is supposed to make you feel really relaxed and euphoric, and I had tried to make a tea from the recommended dosage the previous day, but I didn't feel anything off of it. So I figured, if this stuff was supposed to make you be cool and euphoric, then the best time to take it would be for a first date, and since I didn't feel anything from it the first time, I figured I should take more. So I wrapped a lot of it. Kratom is usually sold as a greenish, super bitter powder, up inside of balls of deli meat, and swallowed those whole before the date. I then went to the lunch feeling nothing until I met the girl and sat down, at which point I suddenly came to the realization that I was a few seconds away from projectile vomiting up all that kratom and deli meat in the middle of the restaurant. I excused myself, got up from the table, walked a few steps towards the bathroom until I began to violently vomit. At which point I covered my mouth with my hands, began choking on my own vomit as I sprinted towards the bathroom, leaked a trail of vomit all over the floor in a path towards the bathroom, then continued to violently projectile vomit into the trash can in the bathroom. I then spent a while to clean my face and wash my arms and hands, which were soaked in vomit. I then returned to the table and tried to survive the rest of the lunch date without dying of embarrassment. I felt like a huge asshole and was really embarrassed. Edit: the road was 75 in Dallas, not I-75. So I met this girl on Tinder and went for a lunch date. We had a pretty good connection, so we decided to have dinner as well. After having a few drinks, one thing led to another and ended up back at my place. We hooked up and went to sleep. Middle of the night I wake up. She's intensely staring at me while she's crouched behind the bed. I asked her if everything is alright. She said yes and got back into bed. I thought little creepy, but probably nothing to worry about. She lays down to cuddle with me and she's wet. At the time, I was like, damn, I must just be a stallion. Fast forward to the morning. She's gone and there's a wet puddle beside the bed. She peed on my floor. I still don't understand it. I had a bathroom, but maybe she just got lost and couldn't hold it. I did not hear from her again. Edit: just want to be clear, we were both tipsy and not sloppy drunk.